I have a feeling that the tree cutting scene between Robin and Kody Brown of Sister Wives is going to be something we discuss for a long time because a lot of really weird stuff came out of it. So for reference, they're cutting down a tree at their house, not at Coyote Pass, but at their, which is very close to Coyote Pass. Cody's apparently cut down a lot of trees around their house, including dropping one on the house, which is crazy. And they're trying to make a view. You can't really see it, but the mountains behind there. I didn't really think it made much of a difference, but whatever. But when he's discussing this, she's saying, hey, you can't cut down this. If you cut down this tree, you've got to deal with it soon. Unlike what a lot of people thought, it does not sound like he is selling it. It sounds like he is cutting it down, cutting it up into wood and hauling it away. Maybe he is selling it just as timber or something, but this is not some master money-making plan. But what he explains is she says to him, hey, you can't cut down a tree until you agree, till you get rid of the old one. Because I'm sure he was cutting down trees and just leaving them there. And you have to do this within 6 months. But what was so interesting to me was that he said, now that I'm a monogamist, there's this new rule that Robin made. And because I'm a monogamist, my wife gets to make the rules, right? And he kind of laughs it off. But I'm like, what are you talking about? Does that imply that previously when he had multiple wives, none of the wives were allowed to make any rules? It was Kody alone who made up the rules? I know that's what Kody wanted, but under what justification are you going to tell me that that was a great idea? I think it's very reasonable that the wives would be able to make some rules in their own household, or they would be made together with the husband. But he has such a weird view on what monogamy means that it just shows me how weird his ideas about polygamy were. And we've seen little hints of this. Things like when they explain that he's like, oh, Janelle, you're just doing stuff without me. And she's like, what are you talking about? If I waited for you to make a decision, I would never get anything done. So for years and years and years, I've just gone ahead and done my own thing. And you show up every fourth day and you get your input, but I have to make all these decisions. It was super apparent. One of the examples was when Garrison wanted to join the National Guard and Kody sat down to have a conversation with Garrison. Garrison was like, he lays it all out. And I'm like, why isn't Janelle saying anything at all in this discussion? Well, we get to the end of the discussion. We find out because Janelle and Garrison have had this conversation ongoing for years, possibly. And Kody is just now joining the discussion. So it's interesting to me to think, they presented polygamy as this amazing system that was so fair to women. But every time he talks about monogamy and things like Robin's allowed to have input now that I'm monogamous, I go, wait. You're telling me, now, first of all, we know that Robin always had input, even when she was a polygamist, but it's so clear how he viewed the other wives. This was his roost. This was his business. He got to do whatever he wants. But now that he's a monogamous, he doesn't have that choice anymore. So he has to let his wife make rules. And there's just never a point where Kody presents polygamy in a way that makes me think, gosh, what a great deal it was for the women. It was only a good deal for Kody. And later Robin, but that's kind of a different conversation.